everyone. It is an absolute pleasure for me to host this session with Rashin Choudhry uh, from the Fred Hollows Foundation. Welcome, Rashin.
Thank you for having me on this literary festival. The Fred Hollows Foundation is very pleased to participate in this Women in Literature Festival and for inviting us to participate to shed light on gender and vision impairment and its effects on education amongst women and girls.
Thank you so much. So, a little bit about Rashin. Rashin Choudhry is Program Development Advisor of the Fred Hollows Foundation in Australia. She began working with the foundation in 2004. In her current role, she's responsible for designing, developing, monitoring, and evaluating high quality eye care projects. She has also experience in developing comprehensive eye care projects, including diabetic retinopathy, school screening, and pediatric. Prior to joining the foundation, she worked at the University of Sydney. She has more than 17 years of experience in international development and eye health issues. Rashin is a graduate of University of Sydney, where she received her BSc in pharmacology. She also holds a master's degree in public health from the University of Sydney. So welcome.
Thank you.
So, Rashin, I would first like to talk a little bit about the Fred Hollows Foundation. If you could tell us more about the Fred Hollows Foundation, its work, and then we can talk about gender equality, vision loss, and how it impacts literacy, especially of women and girls. So, about the foundation.
So the Fred Hollows Foundation was formed by Professor Fred Hollows a year before he passed away, back in 1992. And we're a non-government development organization as opposed to a charity organization. So our work is not to give charity to the countries, but to work in partnership with governments and local partners to build their skills to be able to provide eye care services to its population. Our work spans across countries in Africa, in Asia, and in the Pacific. We have a huge presence in the Middle East. We've been working in Pakistan since 1998. We've been working in Afghanistan since 2006, in Palestine and other countries. The Fred Hollows Foundation believes that as Professor Hollows used to say, that it is the basic attribute of mankind to help each other, and a king should be able, a common person should be able to have the same vision that a king can have. So based on these principles, we help our partners deliver eye care services in the countries that we work. At the same time, we build their capacity to be able to do it for when we are not there. I think that's quite an important attribute to the foundation, that we believe in building sustainable eye care systems which are integrated within health systems. Our work spans across women, men, children. As I would go through my presentation, you will see that the burden of blindness amongst women is really huge. And that puts a lot of emphasis on us to be able to provide those services to women and to build the health system's capacity. And if a woman or a girl cannot see or is vision impaired, that doesn't just have an effect on that individual, but it has an effect on the family, on the community, and on the society in general. So it's really important that we work to provide gender inclusive eye care services.
Yeah, and I've been, we've partnered with the foundation on several occasions, and I've witnessed the work. I've spoken to, so many amazing women at the foundation, and it's incredible what the foundation is doing, what all of you
Thank
are
you.
doing. So coming over to gender equality and how it impacts vision, could you tell us more about that?
Sure. Can I just take a moment to put up a presentation, if I may? Let me just have a go at this. Let's see if it works. So are you able to see my screen in a PowerPoint slide version, or
I can see
that's
that.
better?
Yeah, now I can see
Okay,
the presentation.
okay. So women, we know that gender inequality and vision loss, as I said earlier, can have a profound effect on a woman or a girl's life. And the burden of blindness amongst women is huge. It just baffles me that even today, of the people that are blind or visually impaired across the world, 55% of them are women. So it is just a a very skewed statistic. 20 million women are blind across the world, and 120 million are visually impaired. So, and it could be as simple as them not having a pair of glasses. Around 1.3 times as many women are blind compared to men, and that there are reasons for that, which I'll talk about a bit later on. But what really is astonishing is that 4 out of 5 women who are blind don't need to be, and it's a simple either provision of a surgery or provision of glasses that can restore sight to these women. So and the reason that blindness, prevalence of blindness is higher amongst women is because women are less likely to receive eye care services that they need due to the additional barriers caused by a range of um, cultural, geographical, gender role, and cost-related factors. For example, I'm sure you'd be aware that in many cultures, women aren't allowed to accompany to go to seek healthcare services, and so they need to be accompanied by a male. And so men are busy and they won't prioritize taking women to have their sight restored. There's also distance is a barrier often for women because the eye care services are located too far off. Women are carers, there are mothers, there are sisters, they play different carer roles for which they cannot go to have their eyes checked during the day. And of course, in many cultures, in many countries, women aren't the holders of money in the household, so there are cost related barriers for women. So in these scenarios, we need to be able to provide gender equitable services that are accessible for women in these countries. And you'd be surprised to know, and I'm sure the viewers would, you can restore sight for just $25 in some countries, and it can have a great effect on a girl or a woman's life, and for them to be able to seek education, for them to be able to express themselves through literature, to write poetry or write something else beautiful. Um, I think vision plays such an important role in an individual's life. So, and to be faced with inequality just further makes it worse for women.
So, Rashin, if we can talk about vision loss, child development, and learning.
So it's a very commonly known statistic that almost 70% of a child's early learning happens through vision. And poor vision has a negative impact on education and childhood learning. Learning and development, including language development, which is really important for literacy and vocabulary. We know that by the age of 5, many children tend to have an expressive vocabulary. They almost have in their mind almost about 2,200 words. By the age of 6, approximately 26,000 words are part of a child's vocabulary, and they express themselves through different types of language or gestures. Um, by the age of 6 to 8, kids learn about 6 to 7 words a day. So and because 75% of the learning happens through vision, we can say that vision is, how important is vision for a child's development, and to be deprived of not being able to learn words and vocabulary, and then later on that has a great effect on a child's education, um, especially if a girl cannot see clearly in the classroom. We could imagine how many missed lessons this girl will have, and missed opportunities of learning language or learning different topics in life. Vision impairment for older kids, if they develop a particular disease in their eye, or problems that they cannot study as well as other kids, and they're left behind. And often it happens that the girl child, if she's visually impaired, is taken out of school by the parents. They'd rather take her out than take her for an eye checkup, or give her glasses, because glasses may not look nice on her, or are stereotyped in many societies. So vision loss and child development and learning of words and literature is very closely related. And it's really important that children have regular eye checkups, so that if they are in the class and they're not able to see, the eyesight is checked right there and then, and they're able to be sorted out and progress and be able to achieve the educational outcomes that they're meant to have at that age.
So uh, we know the amazing initiatives the foundation has. You know, you've had in Bangladesh. You know, in schools. So can you tell us more about that?
Sure. So in many of our countries that we work, we have school eye health programs, and these school eye health programs are embedded within are very much in close partnership with the Department of Education and the Department of Health. We strive to create integrated eye care delivery systems, rather than set up vertical systems that aren't sustainable in the long run. We can appreciate that if a girl or a woman is not as well as educated, she's not able to work, she's not able to earn, she's not able to educate her own children, and uh, this repeats a cycle of poverty. Often it's the poor women that go through this cycle. And so we work with schools and with partner governments to embed screening of eyes within health programs for schools. And the reason we do that is that we want to be able to catch poor vision as early as possible, so that educational outcomes aren't delayed. Um, if a girl lives with vision impairment, she's often, as I said earlier, often taken out of school, and is deprived of opportunities to express herself in words, or develop a receptive vocabulary. She's deprived of learning to write. And so her whole life she's in the same cycle of illiteracy. So it's really important that we as an organization work with schools and try to teach the teachers to detect eye problems as early as possible, and refer them onwards to the nearest possible eye care services available.
So my last question to you would be about the impact of vision loss on, you know, social inclusion, on participation, and on women and girls having a voice.
So this discrimination against women is common, but a woman or a girl that has vision impairment and is seen to be disabled faces major barriers in her life. faces barriers towards full participation and inclusion in society, such as politics, such as literature and intellectual life. So if girls are excluded from the social context altogether, um, they kind of, it suppresses their voice. So a girl may not be able to express her ideas. She may have bright ideas. She may have, she may be able to make excellent contribution to the society, but because she's vision impaired and she's not learned to read or write, that deprives her of being able to be a contributing member of the society. And so I think it's really important that we emphasize on being able to provide eye care services to women and girls, especially in cultures where women face inequalities in general. So, and that's what the Fred Hollows Foundation focuses, places its focus on through its work.
So before we wrap up, any last words, and also how can people reach out to, or uh, donate, or volunteer? How can they reach out?
So in terms of what I would like to emphasize is that blindness has a huge burden on women. 55% of blind or visually impaired people are women. 3 out of 4 women don't even need to be blind. And providing access to girls and women to eye health care helps to increase women's participation in society, in community, in literature, and in politics, and be able to provide better for their families and be able to teach the next generation. So it's please, if you can in any way, contribute to the work of the foundation. And if you would like to know more, I've got these different types of links on my screen at the moment. Get in touch with us. But we also, in terms of the volunteering activities, I would refer on to the UAE info help desk. They may be able to provide you with further opportunities. But please do feel free to get in touch with us through our website, through Twitter, through Facebook, and learn what we do and the impact this work has. And you may be able to make a small donation, but a huge contribution to a woman or a girl's life.
So I'll read out the links in any case. So to get in touch with the UAE division or branch, if I'm not mistaken, you can contact uaeinfo@hollows.org, and the number is 0097145645870.
Yes.
And the Facebook page is the Fred Hollows Foundation, and on Twitter you can follow at Fred Hollows, and Fred Hollows on Instagram as well, and
Yes.
YouTube.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Rashin, for this wonderful chat. The day we decided to hold this event, this literary event, is when I decided to have this conversation, especially, on her blindness. I titled it "On Her Blindness" because, we're talking about literature, we're talking about writing, we're talking about, this uh, we have this literary discourse going on. And the most important thing is that 55% of women are visually impaired globally. So for me, if you are unable to read, unable to write because of your vision, then how can we have that conversation about literature? So I think this was really important.
And it is so important for women to contribute to society through literature. They have fantastic ideas. They are responsible for bringing up children, and and vision is so important for education. I think there's no beautiful contribution we can make than to be able to provide vision to someone.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And
Thank you.
and I
Yeah.
again take this opportunity to thank Ananki and for you to organize this festival and give us the opportunity to be able to voice on behalf of all those women and girls that need education and that can make a contribution towards literature.
It is, it is our privilege, honestly, because the immense work that you're doing, this is like a small, this is not even a contribution. So thank you for all that you're doing. Thank you,
Thank you
Rashin.
for having us.
Thank you.